Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you hustle, Kampala just keeps getting more expensive? Yo, as a youth living in Kampala, for me it feels like a constant tug of war, having to struggle and balance the rent, transport, and all the societal expectations that come from a young person like myself. And hey, not forgetting that currently Uganda has 70% of the youth living in the country, where our challenges, of course, like we all know, are amongst unemployment, and low income. And even for those who are able to get jobs, you find that entry level jobs go for as low as 400,000 shillings in Uganda. Guys, come on. That is not something we can get to live on. Join us today on the Social Spotlight and welcome back. Today we navigate the topic Surviving Kampala, a youth's financial struggles. I have a guest with me. I will allow her to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Ndove, and I am a gaming events person. This topic is very interesting, It's quite interesting because of how, when being an entrepreneur, you're the business owner, you are the marketeer, you're the finance person, you are like
Social
everything,
media
social
expert,
media,
the
you are the
delivery
customer.
person.
Customer relations, you are everything. And you can imagine the reason why also sometimes it's like that, it's because of surviving Kampala. Because you can't afford also to outsource or let someone or other people do all those things, and yet you need those services.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And I think the reason why, as a small business, I'm a small business owner myself, more leaned into PR comms and, events planning. But the reason you find yourself doing all these things is because as young people in the country, our resources are limited. It's either you're getting from your salary to fund your business, or you had some money saved somewhere. But also our savings culture is very terrible because when I was growing up, they always told us, what was the phrase?
As you think about the phrase, there's something that I saw that this year my savings saved me. Like my savings are the ones that saved me. So you find that our income, as you said, we have a very low income. Mm-hmm. So you want to start a business and you're using your salary to start a business, and you realize that at the end of the day, you can't save as much as you think you want to save. Your savings end up saving you between hospital bills and all those other things, whatever could come, emergencies, just daily living and all those things. Yeah.
Speaking of savings, I feel like for many people, we find ourselves in a scenario where do you ever be there and then you're afraid of falling sick? Because you're thinking, okay, maybe, for example, my salary could be 800,000. You've maybe paid rent of 350. Now you have to buy food, and you're thinking of Mama Naka who stays somewhere, and you're like, okay, maybe I can survive on a Rolex for today. You get sick, malaria, and then you probably by that time you already have like 200K left. Mariana Kubanja, the other day you didn't have transport back home and you called her for a quick 20K. There's another person out there who probably kubanjas you. So as a young person, I know you've been employed before. How did you navigate Kampala? How did you survive Kampala?
To be honest, the right word is survive. Because I think we could be better. For example, I was going through my social media and I saw people in someone from the UK was mentioning that if you have less than 10,000 in your savings, you're playing. No, I think they even mentioned like 1 million. If you haven't made 1 million yet, you're playing games, and and they're not yet 30 meanwhile, and they're saying all these things, and I'm thinking, guys, Kampala, even $1,000, how are we getting there? Okay, I know we could, but I mean, the standard of living, because all these things, like they contribute to how you get your money. Because if someone feels like they're not able to pay a certain amount for a certain service, it means that you earn less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if you go, let's say, let's give an example of a dress. Yeah. Because you earn the 800,000, the hypothetical amount. Yeah. How much or how many dresses are you going to buy in a month? And how much would you buy the dresses? Yeah.
Well, typically about the good ones, about from 45 and on.
Exactly. But how many of those are you buying in a month? So which means on that 45,000, the person who's selling the dress, how much do they make on the dress? Think about it, because they bought the dress as well.
Yeah,
The
true.
taxes, all those costs and expenses, they have rent, because of course they're in a shop. How much do they earn on the dress? So how much do they take home as a person? So honestly, it's surviving Kampala. Some people say that you actually need a little illegal things for you to survive Kampala.
Speaking of illegal things, the other day I was looking at on social media, and there's this young lady. She's an influencer.
Yeah.
And I think she by nature of what she does, she gets a lot of travel opportunities,
Yeah.
and then also she's able to afford herself a decent life.
Yeah.
But there's this misconception in Kampala: for every young girl that is doing well, you're either a meat seller.
Meat seller. That's
meat
it.
seller, or I don't know, I don't get
It's
it.
a meat
But if a
seller.
man does the same thing, all of a sudden, okay,
that
you're
made it.
hustling.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't get that double standards. Why can't a girl survive Kampala through hustling? But they assume if I'm probably living a decent life, there's a man.
I wouldn't entirely
funding my
blame
lifestyle.
them. I wouldn't entirely blame them because of the culture that we are living in right now. You find there are a lot of people or women, they have all the standards that they set, and they set and expect a few things or a lot of things,
Right.
and they're putting them on another person. They're like, oh yeah, this person is supposed to get for me all these things and
Like,
do for
all
me
those
all
checklists
these things.
for a man and
Yes,
whatnot.
yes,
Should
yes,
be tall,
yes.
should be
So every year, I remember there's a person, live on air. There's a person who I heard saying, my husband has to take us every year for a vacation.
Must
And
be
I'm
nice.
thinking, what if it's a bad year? But then he has to take me for a vacation. So that means that she might not she maybe doesn't actually contribute for that, but her standard is my husband has to take me for the vacation.
Now that brings me, sorry to cut you short, brings me to a realization of if I am married and I am having all these expectations. So in my head, I keep asking myself, well, I'm not married yet, but I keep asking myself, for those people who are already married, you're putting all these expectations on your husband. So at what point does the woman say, oh, maybe this year I'll be funding our trip?
That's the point.
To wherever, or if the trip is set to be there, do I help my husband with some of the bills or my boyfriend? I don't know. Are these financial expectations realistic? I know you're dating or you've dated before. And as a Kampalan living in Kampala,
you're called Kampalans now.
Yeah, we are called Kampalans now. I don't feel like it's very realistic,
Yeah.
Well, this is my personal opinion.
Yeah, that
I do
is
not
true.
want people to come for me.
Honestly, I also think about it the same way. Because I imagine if you're a single person, you had your bills, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're living alone, before you're married, you had the rent, you had the food, you had the medical expenses, you had all the bills on entirely one person. And you get married, and then you expect all your bills
to shift
to another person, including his bills as well. And you're like, yeah,
and
my man has to handle all the bills. So there's
my man.
Oh my God. So I feel like it's unrealistic. Now, with all the standards that people or the society has set, and I would say Ugandans, because this doesn't apply to many people, and I have seen it mostly as a Ugandan culture, that women sit and be like, my man has to provide. And there's this whole dependency, and it's I would say Ugandan thing. Because even when you're getting married, you expect someone else to foot your bill. And then you're like, oh yeah, you didn't contribute to my wedding, so you're not getting a wedding. Kind of like, and yet other cultures, your parents could foot your wedding bill if you can't foot for your bill.
people don't even low-key appreciate that you're fighting for your life.
Right?
Yeah. You're fighting. You know, one thing I forgive my parents for is because I did not ever imagine that you could be working, you wake up every day, go to work, but you'll still be broke. It never made sense to me.
Yeah.
But now it does, because
And you still continue working.
exactly. And you still continue working.
Yes.
But you don't see where the money is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hits, there's a certain amount of money that hits my bank account every certain time of the month. Yeah, either from the gigs, because I'm still employed, but also I'm doing other businesses. But it's not enough.
You're not living invoice to invoice.
I am living invoice to invoice.
You're living bank check to bank
No,
check,
no,
salary
no,
to
no,
salary.
no, no. For me right now, it feels like the same thing.
Well, invoice, you don't know whether the invoice will come or not.
That's the whole point. Like,
the salary will come.
My friend, by the time it comes, you're finished.
I know.
You want to be picked from the trenches somewhere.
So what you were mentioning, that why do ladies, when ladies make it, people are like, oh, they're meat sellers and all that. It's because people don't, they are working. Some people want it very easy.
Yeah.
In a way that whatever we're talking about right now, they don't want to experience it.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, okay, so what's the way out? Because me and you are seated here, we're having this conversation. You're like, you know what? Remember our trip that we have in mind? We have to save for it. Other people don't have to think about saving for it. They have to go immediately. Now, how do they go immediately?
Oh, hi, baby. By the way, I have a trip here. Send a bill.
Meat selling.
Oh, that is it. So what if it's just generous?
There have been actually some people who are married and still meat selling to their husbands.
Oh, wow.
I had to wave at them a little bit because I was like, ooh, that's a hard one, you know?
Speaking of meat selling, you know, when we were growing up, I remember the phrase they constantly told me, live within your means.
Yes.
But now, as a grown-up Kampalan, I am constantly hearing, fake it till you make it. And then, you know, the lifestyle of people in Kampala, either we are partying Monday to Monday. You'll be going to work in the morning and you meet people somewhere on a certain street and they're just coming out of the bar.
And you maybe earn the same amount of money.
Yes, like maybe we're owning the same amount of money.
Yeah.
They're probably living a more decent life. Yeah. And then you're looking at these people and you're constantly asking yourself, what am I doing wrong with my money?
Honestly, I don't think you're doing anything wrong with your money. As I say, the Kampala lifestyle. You know that there are some people who actually just, the way I say dependency.
Yeah.
You know that some people actually go to the bar knowing that they're not going to spend any single amount of money, but they will. That's why you find also men do funny things for money, guys. Some men just be holding bagagas. They call it what?
Sudia Mugaga.
Yes. It's not only the women.
Speaking of that,
yes,
they say women act funny around rich men, but you do not want to see how broke men act around men with money, guys. No, we can't be doing this. They will literally be booty licking. They will be making all the jokes that don't come. They will be.
Did you see that? Those things of Mugaga standing up and you all stand up.
And yes. I mean, what if you end up washing the dishes? There's a story I read. I don't know how the authenticity. So a lady, I think, was invited out by a man. So, like a typical Kampala girl, she brought a whole entourage.
Yeah.
And we do not have the humility to order, like, you know, we do not have the consideration for the other persons. I feel like one thing we get wrong is like we do not, if somebody invited me out, I should have the consideration to order for either something that's the least on the menu or something that I could afford myself. Yeah. But no, I will go and look for the most expensive thing.
I'm about to cut you short because I had an experience
the menu
where someone was told order anything, like anything. They're like anything. Okay. Do you know what these guys did? They ordered 2 large pizzas, the 2 of them. One.
Do you need all that though?
Exactly. Because normally you can't finish the whole pizza on
because
your
you don't even know what's in my wallet. Yes, I'm saying.
Order anything.
Anything, but
why are you 2 people ordering 2 large pizzas?
Speaking of order anything, I know of someone who was taken to a shopping mall. So the guy, I think he must have been drunk, you know, after partying and the trying to impress her or something. So the guy goes like, they enter the supermarket. Then the guy goes like, pick whatever you want. So she picked a whole trolley. And the guy only had 20,000. And she did not have any
Maybe
money.
he meant like pick a snack or something like that, you know?
Now you see where I'm getting.
Yeah.
Like, just because there's, that whole offer of, do whatever, does not mean that
That's the whole
go
thing.
large.
I feel like at the end of the day, that also contributes to how we survive in Kampala. Because that mentality of we thinking that, them thinking, I'm not included, me exclusive, thank you. Them thinking that if someone says, order whatever you want, you pick out a whole trolley and order everything that you think you don't have in your house. And yet who is this person to be buying stuff for your house?
I know.
Do they eat the food in your house? Do they use the toiletries in your house for you to pick out a trolley and be like, oh yeah, toilet paper was missing, and you're like, the expensive ones. And then you're like, oh yeah, I think we needed liquid soap. You're like adding things in your trolley, and they tell you pick whatever you want, and maybe they meant just, oh yeah, we had a long night, just pick a drink or pick a snack. And then in your mind you're thinking, he's still broke. Imagine he couldn't pay for that for the things I picked in my trolley.
But you're a friend. You are broke too.
Exactly.
You are broke too. I mean, you cannot afford it, but you have all these expectations of somebody's son.
Yes.
I feel like we need to now. If I am ever to have children, I would want to have boys only. Because I want to empower those children. I want to empower them. I feel like we're living in a society where the boys are so broken from all the expectations, not only from their family, not only from the society, but who is the society anyway? And then also from the women they meet out there. A Kampala woman will boldly call you broke, by the way, for something she cannot even afford herself.
That's true. It's like saying, oh, he doesn't have a car.
Friend, you're on Futsubishi.
At least, do you even know how to drive in the first place?
I know.
You don't even own a permit. You have never gone to driving school.
You don't even own a bicycle. Like, can you ride a bicycle?
There's owning the bicycle, but do you even know how to drive your own to even own the car? Because two-wheeler. How do you own a car? Okay, maybe some people say they have drivers, but you don't even own anything. You walk on your feet. It's okay to not have cars. But I mean the double standards of having expectations that another person should meet certain needs that you can't meet as a person, that becomes wrong. And I feel like that also has led us into trying to do so much. Because we're thinking, oh, Vivian is always in the bar every night. How do I go to the bar every night?
Not knowing I'm working.
Exactly. So there's Vivian who's posting herself at some place, and Vivian is working. That's what her job entails, that she has to be there and be in those events. And then you're thinking, okay, so I want to be like her. And then you outspend yourself doing that. I know of people who want to prove points to people. They actually do certain things that they cannot afford at this point in life because they want to prove a point. You find yourself, imagine, can we go and play golf?
Golf, me?
Exactly.
Can never be me.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, you're trying to prove a point to people who actually do not contribute to anything in your life.
Can never be me in a context like I would love to, but right now my finances cannot
it's not a priority.
Allow me. It's not my priority right now. My priority right now is making sure I have a rent, making sure I can afford to fuel my car, making sure as a young girl I'm looking decent, I can afford my hair, my nails, I can eat.
And also have a few savings at the side.
Exactly.
But then how do you squander yourself and start doing very luxurious things because you want to prove a point to a few people?
And sometimes what beats my understanding is I feel like Uganda at large, not going out of Kampala alone, is a country where there's just so much opportunity.
Yeah.
And we are currently in an era where there's the rise of freelancing, side hustles, that whole gig economy. Maybe what people get wrong is, the side hustles that actually work for them in our economy. But I feel like there's so much opportunities, and I once in at least once a day or more, I get an opportunity to scroll through social media, and I'm looking at posts by young people. Maybe probably these are maybe people who are fresh out of campus or who are still in campus, who are constantly ranting about, oh, maybe I need a 20,000, or maybe the economy is. So in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, has this person really thought of what they can do? What are your skills?
Yeah.
Have you thought of maybe offering, social media management to
Yeah,
somebody and you earn
yeah.
something? Have you thought of maybe starting a food delivery service, being a personal shopper? Is it that our mindsets as Kampalans
No,
is so flawed that we're so used to being handed things?
it's not about, yes, as Ugandans, very used to being handed things.
Yeah,
But then also remember us being colonized, there's this whole white collar, blue collar, and all that. And as the world is evolving, the technology and all that, you realize that some things also still a little shunned. I know of people who wouldn't do some gigs because they think
it's beneath them.
Yes. And yet they could actually make more money. You could actually make your salary in a day through those gigs.
One thing I keep telling myself, or at least over and over and over, I'm like, I am very, very good at making money,
Yeah.
but I still suck at maintaining it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I mean? I am somebody who does not despise a job. For people who know me, they call me a hustler.
Friend, someone asked me, it seems like you have sold everything in your life.
Some people ask me, what don't you do?
Exactly.
Like, they feel like I'm all over the place.
Yes.
And yes, some days I feel like I'm all over the place. And in my head, I'm like, I have to make the money. Like, I have to afford the lifestyle I'm living.
If there's an opportunity for me to make money, why won't I take it?
The other question I keep asking myself is, where does this money go? Because it actually does come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do make the money, but I don't know where it goes.
Honestly, where the money goes, sometimes I think about it as well. I look at my money and I'm like, am I making good money decisions? Am I overspending in things I'm not supposed to be overspending? And then I sit down and I realize, for me to have a decent life, I'm supposed to actually afford these things. And the things you can't do away or you can't put on the side. And if you put them on the side, also sometimes it kills you. Because it's like, they're like little rewards for you working as well.
Yeah.
It's like the type of house that you stay in is like a reward for you working. Now imagine you work really hard and then you go back to a very bad house. I mean, you have to be comfortable in where you are, yes? So if you're not comfortable and you're working for that rent, how are you motivated to pay for it?
To go back, yeah,
exactly.
to pay for it.
So if you're buying food and it's the food that you do not want to eat, so imagine if you do not like eating beans, example, or it's an example. Yeah. You don't like eating beans
or
as a person.
Rolex.
Or a Rolex as a person, yeah? And then all that you do is, when you make money, you just buy a Rolex and it's not something that you enjoy eating. Would you keep making the money?
Well, personally, no.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, my driving force right now is two things. Because one, being an only child, I know I do not have a fallback plan.
Yes.
Yeah. It's either I am working or I am not.
Yeah.
And then also I'm at a point in my life where I have expectations from my family.
Exactly.
They expect me to they expect me to either be paying school fees for somebody somewhere. Yeah. They expect me to be providing for rent for somebody somewhere. Somebody just wants to wake up one day and call you, oh, by the way, I got an emergency medical bill, something.
Like that. Yeah.
Maybe we do not have food. And then I'm looking in good faith.
Yeah.
I would really want to support. But then I'm looking at these people and I'm like, do they have any consideration whatsoever for my life right now? Do they know how hard I am working? Yes. And sometimes you even work and then you go for like 5 months, you've not been paid.
Yeah.
For even more than 5 months. And then, there's this request that comes. It's not like I do not want to give you the money. I really want to help you, but right now I cannot. And no, they'll never understand that. Wouldn't. Not even friends. They think they'll see you living. Oh, you're driving. Yes, I'm driving. But do you know how many times I've not had fuel to fuel my car? Do you know how many times I've gone for longer times to service my car?
But now for me, I go all the way to be like you and own a car.
Like you do
like
not.
Vivian has a car.
You do not know my struggles.
Then I go and meet sale.
Like they do not. Sometimes I feel like we need a whole mindset change.
Yes, that's
We
true.
need our families to unlearn certain things because they traumatize us. I
Honestly,
feel like that's
yes.
why as Ugandan youth we have the highest rate of depression.
True.
And for me, this is very personal because I've lost somebody to depression.
Yes.
Yeah, as somebody who is a very close family member.
Yeah.
But I don't know just how we can erase
The
this
expectations.
the expectations that
Yes.
family
Yes.
has
It's
from
like
us.
it feels
You know?
like our parents our parents. Sorry, parents. Our parents raise us to be like their insurance plan of sorts. You know how you save your money with NSSF, and you know that at a certain point you'll go and get your money back, and maybe it incurs an interest. And some of these parents don't even do a lot, for you. And then they have all these expectations that, you know what, I will get this and do these things. And I'm thinking, do you know, even you as a person, you know how hard it is for you to survive. And the economy, the economies are very different. We're in different stages of the economy in 2024, soon 2025,
Yeah.
than it was then. If you count 2000 and
No,
2024,
let alone
it's
the
different.
economy. Even you as a person, you're in a
Yes.
very different stage in your life.
Yes.
You understand? But I feel like sometimes people around us do not
No,
understand
they
that.
don't.
They don't. So
Do you know, sometimes I think about, some people ask me, oh, when are you getting married? I'm thinking, am I going to be the wife who has to figure out all these things? And you're thinking, okay, where am I going to get money from? I know there's this whole expectation of your husband and all those
you
things.
should have
But then
babies.
it's at the back of my mind, low key, that even as a wife, I'm supposed to have my money. But not that I'm like, when you're still figuring out things, or when you're in that state where you feel like even family doesn't understand where you are at, and then you also get married to another person, and then you have children
you cannot afford.
and you have school fees, and you have diapers, and you have bills.
For me, this is not a personal attack to people who have children. I am very happy for you, but personally, I am in my stage in my life where I feel I cannot afford to have a child. I mean, I'm I am struggling to maintain myself. Now there's a whole other, whole life that I have to bring. No. I kind of
feel like
hear
for the
you.
children,
I kind of hear
believe
you
there'll
when
be
you
provision.
say
Yeah.
I need to be a wife with some money, because you see there are certain things that
can't be
however much
asking
your
your
husband
husband.
is providing,
Yes.
do you know that joy that comes from just waking up one day and you go somewhere and then you have to just spend your money and without asking?
Like, even if you want to get yourself something cute, do you have to rely on your husband to cash in for you all the time?
Or your boyfriend?
Or your boyfriend? Do you have, and because if someone is cashing in for you, it means that you have to do it according to them. So even if you have to buy a dress, it has to be a dress that pleases them. And to an extent.
Yes, to an extent. But then also, you might want it now, and yes, the money might be there, but they've probably planned to get
Definitely.
something else
It's not
in
that
that
important
moment.
at that point.
Not for them, at
It's
least.
not a priority.
And then also, as a woman, well, most women will never understand that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why sometimes relationships in Kampala are failing, because the women are taking.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ever sit on one point and they like, wait a minute, am I pouring something into my husband or my boyfriend?
Yeah.
Because you can't keep taking from an empty cup.
Exactly.
That's why I feel like they eventually just ghost us.
Of course, because you have all these things like
expectations.
I remember someone Dexter Dubs, and then I asked someone, not that I would go, I don't even know Dexter Dubs songs, so I was asking them because I know they would want to go. Like, are you going? They're like, if I buy a ticket, I have to buy again for my woman. So, and then that's the reason they didn't go. They thought of how to buy 2 tickets, the price of the Dexter Dubs, and then all the things that come with after that. They thought about that.
That transportation, they're probably going to work the outfit,
the drink, the food, all the things that come with it. They're like, I have to think for 2. But then now that mentality is also, I know, when we say a man who provides, or not, okay, for me personally, when you say a man providing, I'm not saying be my alpha and omega in provision, in a sense. Like I should be able to also do stuff for myself as well.
Yeah.
And then
for your person as well.
yes, for my person as well. And then at the end of the day, you are supposed to be able to handle yourself as well as a man. Because there are also men who can't handle their things.
Yeah.
They actually can't afford themselves as well.
Yeah, true.
And then you find this man who cannot afford himself also wanting to date someone else. That's where the problem is. You can't afford food every day and you want to date someone else. I'm not saying buy me food. I'm saying be able to buy food for yourself. That's the whole point. So now that's what we need. Okay, yes, it trickles down to all the other things.
Baby, let's not be hungry together. Surviving Kampala is a... Well, I'm thinking that's what goes through their minds. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Those girls. But yeah, the whole surviving Kampala thing, honestly, I think now because we think that we want, maybe it's social media, then maybe we're not exposed to how other people live their lives. You are counting on America that has credit cards that are, I was checking my bank last time, how to get a credit card. I have to make a deposit to get a credit card. And I'm like, do Americans put deposits to get a credit card? Because some even max them out and then they get a new one.
This is a new culture in our country. Yeah.
So which means they just don't give me a credit card just like that. And I'm looking at people in America who use credit cards to have a certain lifestyle and they pay back. They have student loans. They pay them back. And then I'm living the same kind of lifestyle in Uganda, or I want to live that lifestyle in Kampala. Yeah? And that means that I will miss. For example, I saw someone who they were asking, how do you stay in speak apartments every single day? Like, what do you do for you to be in speak apartments every single day? Or to be in Serena every single day? What do you do every single day? What are you doing in Serena every single day?
You asking me?
No. There's certain people that actually are always there or they have rooms booked in those places. And yet because they're looking at the Western culture, which lives on whatever I mentioned earlier, and then they're like, I would like to be like them, so I would like to go to this place. And then we see white people, American people coming to Africa, then they look like they are spending a lot of money, they're going for safaris.
These people have been saving.
They have been saving.
They have planned for this trip.
Exactly. But no, it hasn't Kampala. You give me 2 million right now, let's go.
Or maybe I saw Mary Ann last night and then tomorrow I'm like, okay, I want to go as well. You will dine your movies, my friend.
Exactly.
Well, but as we close, for me, I recently turned 30 and...
oh, congratulations.
Thank you. No, I'm soon I'll start feeling like an ancestor.
Well, for me, I have I'm not turning 30 next year or this year, so I'm still safe.
Don't worry, we shall be here to welcome you. So I feel like I've been doing a lot of reflections.
Yes.
And one, I've been taking my mental health very seriously.
Yes.
I've been doing a lot of reflections on my life.
Yes.
I'm on this journey to learn, like I keep saying. I know somebody who keeps, coming for me. But one thing that I am really taking seriously is networking.
Yes.
And learning.
Yeah.
There are very many free things. You do not know just how much you can learn from YouTube. There are very many courses on Alexon. There are very many courses on platforms like Uketa. And this is, by the way, an indigenous thing. Boo Boo. Buy Uganda, build Uganda.
I've seen, so Trace has something as well that's free as well.
Yes, there is so much. So as young people, I feel like there are things we can learn. You can learn how to freelance, You can learn a new skill that you can sell there. In my other life, I do virtual assistance and I didn't, have to, this is not rocket science. So I just learned these things online. And I'm developing a culture. My mom keeps talking to me about saving this, saving that, saving this. And in my back, it enters like through here and then comes out through here. But now I am learning. Yes. So I'm starting small.
Yeah.
So to be very realistic, I'm starting with 10K per week.
Perfect.
You never know, I'll advance,
yeah.
As time goes on. But for me, because also I would love to go on trips, at some point next year. Because I feel like this year I didn't really get to travel as much as I would have wanted to.
Yeah.
So, and we have a trip together
Yes,
coming
we
on.
do have a trip
So,
together. Don't disclose the
of course
location. You guys will
not.
see
You will
it.
see the photos and all that.
Yes.
So, I'm being really intentional
Yeah.
about my money because I realized one thing also. 2024 has been quite something. I found myself in so much debt. This is not something I want to carry into the next year.
Yeah.
I've learned debt management. Yeah, I'm being very intentional about my finances. So I feel like I'm entering into a whole fearless, new version of me
That's
that I'm not
perfect.
sure if you all will handle, but
Yeah.
she's coming.
Talking about all that, one thing I also learned, I'm learning as well, is honestly the things that for me personally, I've never had someone, unless your mother told you things, I've never had anyone telling me things or telling me do this or you should do this is how you should live or anything. I've figured it out. But then because of learning from mistakes, you get into a lot of debt, and then debt is hard to get out of
Yeah.
because already you have expenses, you have all those things. It's hard to get out of debt sometimes. I've also learned now how do we talking about debt management. Last time I was talking to a friend and we are talking about money, and do you know what we figured out? Well, like sometimes you keep money and you're like, let me not do this, or let me not pay for this. You hold on a certain payment, hold off, yeah? And then you're like, let me first keep the money. And then before you realize it, Vivian, I said, let's first walk there. Then you pull out a 20,000. Let's do this. And then by the time you realize it, you have spent that money that you're supposed to pay for that bigger bill on something that you can actually trace. And some of these things it's a discipline of understanding that when you have a budget, stick to the budget. Whatever you have budgeted for, stick to the budget. And then for the other things you have not budgeted for, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, no, I can't go to that place with you today.
FOMO will not let people thrive.
Exactly. So those are things that we are learning in this learning journey. And at the end of the day, you could work all you can work and you'll not be able to see the money because you're trying to live a certain life. You're trying to impress people around you. You're trying to look like you can go to all the places they can say, let's go to. And then or you failed to save the 10,000 this today. You're like, now I failed. Let's just eat the money. Well, it's a learning journey. If you fail to save the 10,000 today, save it tomorrow because it still accumulates.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've learned, that even without not talking about money, I started a recent fitness journey, going to the gym and all that. It's a little difficult. Yeah. And some days that I feel guilty. I'm like, I haven't gone. I have not yet gone. And then I'm like, now what am I going to do? And then I feel bad. I'm like, oh, so I'll not go. But then it's that gradual thing of continue doing the things that you think you need to do until you get there, because it's supposed to be a
consistency.
Discipline. Yes. Even if you miss out, keep doing it. You fail, keep doing it. Because at the end of the day, we are in a learning journey. We're trying to learn all the things that we want to be and become the person that we want to be. We don't wake up as a person. It's a lie that you wake up as a successful person. You have to discipline yourself into that successful person. So what are those things that you do or teach yourself to consistently do day in, day out? Even if you fail to do it tomorrow. Even if you fail to do it tomorrow, do it the next day. So even if it comes to money, how you spend your money, how you make the money, how do you discipline yourself? Because it's a discipline, honestly. Money is a discipline. Because you can get the money and you might not know where it goes.
True. As we finalize, for me, surviving Kampala really is, in my opinion, it's about, like she says, consistency, of course, but also it is okay to say no some days. It is okay to fail, because even all the Bill Gates, even all the Chirumiras we have here, they did not just wake up one day and they were rich. They failed, but they kept trying, yeah? As young people, we give up so easily. We are entitled. We feel like things should be handed over to us. We do not take that extra effort to get out of our comfort zones, to learn a new skill, to go out of your way to network. Even you will be surprised, you'll go at an event, but people in a corner on their phones, like, just stay home. Why are you at a networking event and you're on your phone?
Exactly.
Get out of your comfort zone, meet people, introduce yourself. And one thing I learned is, as young people in Uganda, we do not know how to introduce ourselves, even over the phone call. You'll be so amazed.
You know, I used to
I
sell
don't
beard
know.
oil, and this person texted me yesterday. I don't have beard oil.
Who are you?
I don't have. What do you mean you don't have beard oil?
And they feel like they've done, they've
Yes,
really
and then in calls after
communicated.
that, I
Oh,
don't
wow.
have beard oil.
I feel like we, as a podcast, we really are going to do so much
Yes.
mindset change. Yeah. But really, surviving Kampala is all about your discipline, your consistency, and do not give up. But because, we are strong and
I think we
powerful.
should change the podcast name to Surviving Kampala.
Right?
Yes.
It's been so amazing catching up with you. I don't know if Marianne has any final remarks.
I feel like we've talked about
Exhausted
it
it's
all.
yeah.
But honestly, one thing, as she said, say no. You can say no. And at the end of
And
the
it will
day,
not kill you.
no one is going to come and beat you, guys. I know it feels like, oh, these people are going, I should also go. Or they're doing this, I should also do it. Or they're buying this, I should also buy it. But at the end of the day, you know your bill. You know the money you earn. You know how you earn the money. So don't live on other people's account or other people's bills of sorts because you are trying to be like everybody else. If you do that, you will end up really going through a lot. You end up in a lot of debt, or you do crazy things for the money because you just need the money to survive.
Yes.
So surviving Kampala, honestly, don't go with a FOMO. Don't go with peer pressure. Don't be peer pressured by adults. Don't laugh. I know why you're laughing.
Peer pressure, a killer of very many years. But anyways, if you've loved our content, please subscribe. We do this every time, and follow us on social media. We are on TikTok and we are on Instagram. I've been your host, V. Stay safe, take care of your souls, and do not give up. As a young Kampalan, everybody has their path, and one day it will be your chance to glow. But while you get there, take one step at a time, and together we shall make it one day.